Hello, my sacred warriors, fellow people who are on the journey of healing. I just wanted to come on and speak into a few things, and I want to speak to anyone who is struggling right now. It's really difficult, and my partner and I we're always the journey is always for us is always in co-creation with spirit. So we speak to spirit quite a lot, to make sure that we're on target, that we're in alignment with our soul path. And what I've noticed is that for a long time, we were getting loads of great news like, yes, you're doing everything right, do this, do that. It was always good news. But there were some instances where I felt something come through that spirit wanted to say through my vessel, and same with Hazel. And I didn't say it because I thought, oh, well, spirit wouldn't say that because that's really bad. And in the past year, we've both been called to embrace our darkness. And what we've realized is that spirit's been trying to warn us about a lot of things. And you may see from my King Arthur channeling, it's not bright and fluffy, but this is what spirit's been trying to tell us. And through embracing my darkness, which is one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do because we're taught not to express our darkness, our anger, our emotions, and all of that, um, started to channel what's coming. And there's a really big portal on the 999, which is called the Big Split. And it's been shown to me in various different ways from spirit. But we asked spirit for some good news. He said, is it going to get any better? And he said, no. Not in the short term, no. And I want everyone to know that I've really, really gone through it, really. And I'm going through it right now. Hazel and I are essentially homeless. We're moving in with a friend because for various reasons. And I'm having to go back into London to get a job. And it's all been part of the divine plan of my soul. And I'm following that and trusting that. But it's been really tough, really tough. I never thought I would be going back to London. And there's all of these. I've always thought this since I started my journey. There's always these judgments on spirituality and what it means. There are so many men I find that really steer clear away from spirituality because of what people believe it to mean. Like, I don't see myself as part of that spiritual bypass energy. I've always been really direct and kept that part of me that is just really vulnerable. And I think that's why my videos are like that. I show my vulnerability because I've had to go through that. But I've seen that the people who don't show that vulnerability um, are often the ones that exhibit narcissistic behavior and can be quite um, nasty sometimes. And I find that very difficult because I love everyone. And what I'm finding right now, I had this moment with myself last night where I realized that why is it so difficult to be a good man? Why is it so difficult to be a good man in modern day society? It's absolutely crazy. Everything is preloaded with judgment, compliance, exploitation. it feels like there's always someone there ready to take advantage of kindness and love. But I can feel that that's switching now, that's changing. We've been told by Spirit that the portal on the 999, 9th of September, which is the ninth month, and it's 2025. You add up 2025 and you get nine, so it's a 999. And 9 plus 9 plus 9 is 27, 2 plus 7 is 9. So it's like this emergency portal, and it's actually a split because it's 999666. And it's a split of the people who are essentially too afraid or too attached to that old way of living, the old toxic matriarchy and patriarchy, essentially the old um, third dimensional slavery and fourth dimensional, and the new way, the new earth, which includes all of the ancient forgotten stuff, but leaves behind all of the fear and everything. And you know, how far are you willing to go to make that dream a reality? And this is what is in which is what came through from King Arthur when I was channeling King Arthur. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and I have been doing that, and it's been challenging. And I want to be here for people who are struggling because I know how difficult it is. But what I'm experiencing in my personal life is that there's this collective energy of people are afraid to be kind to each other because they want to, how do I say this? They don't want to let go. Everybody's attached to what they have, what they need, instead of supporting each other. So everybody's looking after number one. But I can tell you that what's coming is it's only going to work if we work together. If we're constantly just looking after ourselves, then we're only going to feed the energy of separation within us. And this all started mainly like in the most recent energy with COVID. This is what they promoted. They promoted separation where there's just more and more of it. It's more difficult to connect with people. Um, it's it feels like I have knots in my stomach with some of the interactions I've had with people. Hazel and I are such grounded, compassionate, and kind people, and we've met a handful of others actually through our YouTube channel and through private courses that we've done. We met some really lovely people. Like if you watch Warrior Sessions, you can see, Michael's one of those people. He's lovely, and Carolina and Katie. And these people seem to be quite rare right now because this fear that has been pumped into the system is only promoting people's egos. And so when someone like I or Hazel come along and say, "Hey, hi, we need your help with something," or um, we have to do something, or we need support or anything like that, there is this fear energy that is immediately sparked from kindness and love. And it's really hit me like a sledgehammer because I realized that all of a sudden people have forgotten how to love each other. It's really just step back and think about that for a moment and feel that people have stopped loving each other. People have lost the belief in love. Like I have even people have sent me videos on Instagram I don't go on there other to post videos, but I see these spiritual individuals who are really ungrounded and hiding in the light, and they're doing more damage than other people because they are spiritual and they're speaking to those people who are on the spiritual journey, and they're misleading people because they're hiding in the light. And this split that's coming, it's going to really hammer home to people the level of detachment they have from their darkness and the earth here, the earth, the dark earth, of actually being here and not in the stars, in the mind and the cosmos. People are exposing, sorry, not exposing, exploiting the gift and power of spirituality. And I just want to touch on what, spirituality is. There's so many judgments on it. For me, spirituality is a journey of healing, self-healing. It's not a journey of preaching. It's about remembering who you are. There's always been about that for me. I didn't start my spiritual journey until 2019 when I started working with psychedelic medicines. I mean, I had no idea what plant medicine was capable of until I took that brave step. And I know a lot of people are afraid of that, and it's because they know that their ego will die. Their ego stops them from doing it, and it is a big ego death, and it's so beautiful. But before that, I was working in, very mental realm, psychotherapy and all of that. And that was helpful. But spirituality to me is really feels like home. It's like the missing element. If you have earth, wind, water, and fire, you also need spirit. And it's like that movie. I love that movie of Bruce Willis, The Fifth Element. And the fifth element is love, and that's just another word for spirit. And the journey that it takes for a man to come out the other side and truly be healed is not like what you've read or what you see online. It's this grounded realness of being in life. Like, do I look like I've got all the shiny things and that I'm wearing all the right things and I'm saying all the right things and that my videos are perfect? No, no, because the journey is really difficult. And most of the time I don't look great, even though I try to. And it's not like I don't look after myself, I do. But the journey is really difficult, especially when you do it in partnership. But it's also extremely rewarding. But I find that, there's two camps, there's men and women, and there's the difficulties for each camp are so different. Like I've worked with so many women and I have so much respect and compassion for the feminine. And I just want to sit down with men and go, look, this is what's really happening. This is what you're missing out on. But men have such a different difficulty. Like, as I said earlier, like I had this realization last night. I, f- I was looking for a job, right? I'm just going to tell the story. I was looking for a job. And I've been working with this recruiter, and I've worked with loads of recruiters in my lifetime, but he's the only recruiter that ever treated me like a human being. I hadn't spoken to him in 3 years. How are you? Last time I spoke to you, you were going to the jungle to take ayahuasca. And I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, I forgot about that. He goes, did you find anything? I said, well, you probably wouldn't believe me. And he laughed. And then and then I said, how are you? He goes, I'm okay. My dad just died, but I can get through it. He was in his 80s. And I knew that he hasn't really realized that his dad is dead. He can think it and know it, but he hasn't felt it yet. And I have. My dad's still alive. He'll be 84 in a few days. But he stopped talking to me in 2016 um, for ridiculous reasons, nothing to do with me at all. Stopped speaking to everyone, not just me, my whole family and extended family. because of his own self-hatred. I've even written two letters, really lovely letters, and they've both been ignored. And so this recruiter, when he said that, I was, I thought this guy's really lovely. I want to write him a letter. This is what my intuition was saying. Just write him a letter. And I was like, write him a letter because he'll think that's stupid or whatever, all these judgments. And then last night I was sat with myself and it came through again really strongly. Write him a letter. So I did. And it really touched my heart because I realized that I was connecting with someone who I don't even know. I don't even know what he looks like. I've only spoken to him over the telephone. And I wrote him a beautiful letter about how I've had to start grieving my father because he hasn't spoken to me in nearly 10 years. And I said to him, it hits you like a sledgehammer. It hits harder than you can ever imagine, and you'll never be prepared for it. And I said to him, even if you don't know me, I'm a complete stranger. I'm here for you if you want to scream, if you want to rage, if you want to laugh, if you want to cry. You've got my number. And I've written that letter and I'm going to send it to him because I'm a human being and I remembered that I have a heart and I realized that we've all stopped loving each other. And I know how difficult it is for men. Like, why is it so difficult for a man to be a good man in this world? Why is it so difficult for a man to be happy? I have to be so careful with how I behave, what I say, from fear of judgment. And this is what they've done to us. They've infiltrated the masculine to hurt the feminine. And so the feminine are, like, I'm just finding so many women who are hugely enlightened and they have no men to support them. And I know why. I know why. I understand it. It's just, it's so devastating what has happened. Because if people have forgotten how to love, it means they don't know how to love. And this is exactly what I had to go through. And I was taught this by Hazel. Men need women. They need to relearn how to open a heart. This is what I've had to do. I've learned how to open my heart, how to reconnect with love, how to reconnect the feminine. Connecting with the feminine isn't easy. Imagine, imagine, this is what I did. Imagine one day stumbling upon a woman who you just get on really well with, and you're just so open-hearted that you just tell everything to each other, everything, stuff you've never told anyone. And just imagine that there's no sex involved. And imagine you become best friends. Imagine that you don't judge each other, that you don't shout at each other, that you don't argue, and that you make each other laugh, you look after each other and you support them and you listen and you're there for them all the time. That's love. But nowadays, if a woman doesn't put out for a man, she's gone. If a woman doesn't look pretty, if she doesn't look skinny or athletic, she's not even considered. And, similar can be said for men. Men feel unworthy for a lot of good-looking women, and there's a lot of exploitation of beauty. But if you look at it from the the point of view of women, I read this quote from Dave Chappelle, the famous American comedian. He said when he first got his first paycheck, I think he had it was $20,000, and he had it in his backpack. And he said he felt so vulnerable and so scared walking through the street. He said it's the first time he understood and realized what it was like to be a woman, and how women need to be protected because of how dangerous it is just to be a woman because of sexual perversion, rape, and things like that, and exploitation. And it's true, I've worked with a lot of women who've been abused an enormous amount, and it's really unheard of, and with men as well. It's so ignored, and it's really surprising how many people are sexually abused. And our whole society is based on it. Those are the foundations of this old way that's going to crumble. It's based on that because they created it. Los Angeles is the foundation of that. And this what Hazel and I are doing is so profound and so ahead of its time that we're struggling to deliver it. So we have to deliver it through art. And this is why Hazel created the Soul Prophecy Oracle deck. It's profound. It's so big that she's had to put people in the artwork to hold the energy. She needed a soul that was big enough to hold that energy. Um, but it's been so difficult for her. I've had to hold her. She's been through nervous breakdowns. It was only just the other day she was inconsolable in tears because of betrayals, sabotages. It's been so difficult to give up everything, anything to do with the old way of living. We've had to give it all up in preparation for what's coming, because what's coming, you can't enter if there's any form of fear inside, any form of control or manipulation on love, any distortion. It all has to be left behind. All attachments, it's not about consumerism and physical attachments. It's about emotional attachments, about leaving behind. But there's so many on, the first line of consciousness, second line of consciousness, and the third line of consciousness that it's just a whole journey of purification. I've been doing it solid for 5 years straight. And that was, just spiritually. Before that, I did all the other stuff, the mental stuff. But I can tell you wholeheartedly, I could not have got here without plant medicine, and that's another thing in spirituality that is twisted and manipulated. They're called drugs. That's ridiculous. Drugs are man-made. These are plants. They're not drugs. They're not drugs. Drugs are what they put in our water, fluoride. Paracetamol's a drug. Man-made things that where they mess with nature. And I haven't drank tap water in at least 3 years, 3 or 4 years. Been drinking bottled mineral water or purified water. And it's taken that long to decalcify and clear out my third eye. And the third eye, the chakra, is about ability, your ability to respond. What does that mean? Responsibility. If you listen to my podcast episode on the fly, that's what it's about. It's about reclaiming responsibility. And that's one of the toughest lessons anyone can ever go through. Because when you realize what you haven't taken responsibility for, no words, no words, right? So when you decalcify and clean out the third eye by taking responsibility for that which has been ignored, turned a blind eye to, um, the real soul journey comes in, and it's never, ever, ever how you believe it to be. It's a lot more difficult. And I'm making this video because I want to connect and let people know that there are people who are ready to guide, lead, who are ready to help you, support you, Hazel and I, to support you through the hard times that are coming, the hard times that you're going through now. Reach out. If you want me to do a specific video on a specific emotion, I can do that. I've spoken about how in my last podcast with Michael about um, how I found out what the matrix was and how distorted emotions are entities, and I had to clear those out of my system. So I had to really get to know emotions and really get to know myself and how spirituality works on a really precise level, to the point where I'm so sensitive that sometimes when I brush my teeth and I've been let's say for example I've had a bad day and someone's treated me really badly and I've said some curse words. I can I can hear the curse words I'm brushing off my teeth. That's how attuned I am to my own spirit, my own soul, and it's a constant evolution of, falling back into myself, remembering who I am, not leaving my body. It's so easy to leave the body rather than stay in it. That's why, I think people don't understand that plant medicine brings you into your body. That's why it's so enjoyable. That's why it's such a great experience. And the integration is to solidify that in the body, to bring that in the body so that it's anchored in there. Most people don't do that, and so you see all these spiritual um, bypassers who are talking about star seeds and speaking light language and stuff like that. And that's sacred stuff that shouldn't be shared like that. It's not even light language. Like when you really connect with your soul heritage, it's love language. It's love language. And it's very grounded. It's very grounded. Mine and my partner's comes from the inner earth cities. To connect with the stars and stuff like that, that's really part of this thing of the third eye I'm talking about, the calcification of the third eye, where people don't want to be here really. They just want to be heard, and that's a really deep wound for everyone. I think everybody wants to be noticed, everyone wants to be respected, honored, celebrated. But the truth is, the really hard down to earth truth is that we have to work together, man and woman, and it has to be really grounded. And people need to start sharing their confrontation energy in a safe space. Like I really want to share a held space with men only, women only, and both together. This is what Hazel and I plan to do. We're probably going to start in Glastonbury because it's the only place where our energy doesn't feel like an outcast. The Glastonbury has its own issues, but at least people are seeking that level of information there, and it is the heart chakra of the earth. So the good work that we do there will go out to the rest of the world. But the point I'm trying to make is I want people to express their anger. What does that mean to express your darkness and be witnessed? It's extremely powerful. You look at my videos on exploitation. I put them on here to be witnessed. Normally, I'm witnessed by my partner or by Michael on my podcast. It's really important to be witnessed. Sometimes we don't need to be witnessed. Last night, I was going through my own grief about what it meant to be a good man. And like I said, writing that letter and having to deal with some um, unfriendly people as well in my life, which I'm not going to go into. It's difficult for someone like me, and you might be like this, where you are really deeply innocent, deeply vulnerable, deeply sensitive, and sometimes you are afraid to show that boundary where you have to go, no, I don't condone you speaking to me like that. That's not fair. I'm a really good person. Don't speak down to me. I've given you no reason to do that, right? For people like us, that feels like being punched in the stomach, just the thought of expressing a boundary. It's horrible. And yet that's exactly what I had to do last night. And it was really powerful. My heart started beating and all this power rushed in. That's integration. That's the definition of integration. Doing that you don't wish to do based on the energy of love. Because that is an energy of love, of protecting my family, protecting my heart. And I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to hurt the other person. This is how sensitive and loving I am. But there's a difference between allowing someone to treat you like crap and walk all over you. You know, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I just want, I just want you to know that you're not alone. It's really difficult at the moment, and I'm finding as many ways as possible to stay afloat in an energy of joy. But I have my ups and downs just like everyone. And if people are showing that they don't and that everything's all rosy, it's a complete lie. Like this, I don't know if anyone watches Pam Gregory. She's had that woman on a couple of times who always channels the angels. Can see how ungrounded she is. Great messages, right? Again, all light, all love. Doesn't really talk about the deep dark stuff that's coming because there is going to be an awakening, but it's not going to happen with all how people believe it's going to happen because people need to play their part. And that's when there's going to be a split because a lot of people are going to struggle. This is why Hazel and I, we knew this was coming for a number of years, and we've tried to share this wisdom on Prophecy Walkers. We knew it's coming, and so we prepared ourselves. We've been working our asses off every day. Purify, purify, purify to such a level that I'm working with integrating the crystalline body now. It's magnificent. It's very heavy physically, but so I need to be physically stronger. You move it with the light of your body. It's really profound. It's interesting, and it's like rainbow glass. It's really cool. But I don't have anyone to talk about all these cool things about because um, people aren't coming together yet. So I really look forward to having these conversations with people. I really look forward to people stepping into the light, to not be afraid to speak up, because I know there's quite a few of you who are afraid to watch my videos, but you don't need to be. There's no judgment here. There's no humiliation here. Only support and friendship. I just want to do more of these videos of connecting without all of this spiritual bypass nonsense. Don't get me wrong, doing that stuff personally in private, connecting with spirit and stuff, that's really cool. I really love it. But to exploit that and share it online, I don't agree with that. It's sacred stuff. It's not being used correctly. It's being used to misguide people and paint a picture of themselves that just isn't true. It's ungrounded. Because if they were really doing the work, they wouldn't even be online. They'd probably be in tears every day because you have to give up everything. It's so difficult. So difficult. That's why it's really best never ever to do this on your own. You really can't do it on your own. There's only so far you can get on your own. But if you're a man that wants to connect with a woman, I can guide you through that. If you're a woman that is struggling to understand why men won't connect with you, I can help you through that. I can help you through all the processes. Just just there's so much involved, and I really just enjoy decoding it and opening it up. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you any longer. Send me your comments and let me know what you want to hear. from me because there's a really big awakening coming, and you really have to tune into it. It's not always visual. But the September is a really big month. This month's really big, but every August I find very difficult because it's the void energy, because it's the summer solstice energy, and that mirrors in the southern hemisphere, which would be the winter energy. So you get this void space, and it's very difficult. So enjoy the rest of your day and your week. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.